Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It is February 10th. It's been 11 days since we planted these tomatoes, and as you can see, some of them are really getting rambunctious. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these out of here. Now, a lot of people say, well, we'll wait till they get their true leaves. Of course, a lot of people don't plant them in bunches like that. But I'm not going to wait. I never do. This is Craig's Atomic Grape right there. It does pretty good. This is the one that was my Red Snapper hybrid that I saved seeds from. So we'll see how this comes out this year. But as you can see, we have a lot of these that need planted up. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant them up. And I'm going to clear out a little bit of my mess here. And I'll start with some of these bigger varieties. And we're going to put them in cell trays here. Now, normally your plants you get at the nurseries or at big box stores, they're going to be in little trays like this. Little 6-pack. We're going to plant these in considerably bigger trays, these ones here, because these are going to stay in there longer. We don't want the roots to get real bad root bound. If they get too bad and we have to wait to put them out, we'll go ahead and up pot them. But this is a simple process. Now, I have a little divot tool that I can use to make my holes with, and it's just a matter of coming down in here. I'll go down deep and I'll make the hole. Now, in the same instance, this is a dowel. This is what I use a lot of times too, and it's just a matter. It's not as pointed, but it's the same thing. You can use a dowel, a pencil, anything to make your hole. Now, what you're going to do is we're going to plant these, up pot these, and so first thing I'm going to make a bunch of holes because the shorter they're out of the moist area, and normally there's not a problem. Tomatoes are pretty resilient as far as to take and up pot. But what I got also is my popsicle stick that I just put a V on the end of it, and the reason for this, it makes it easy to put them in the ground. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take out this tag. I'm going to take these out of here, and you can see all these roots. Now, taking them this young, the advantage to it is the roots aren't tangled near so much, so it's actually a little less stressful. We can take this plant in. We'll just put it over here in its hole, and we'll just push this thing down into this hole. We're going to bury it all the way down to its leaves as far as we can get it, and it's going to be that simple. Now, some of these are different ages, and it depends on how many plants you want, because I don't have to have all of these. And of course, I do give away some if people are some of my people that's local and they may be interested in a tomato plant, and they got room for another one or something like that. But like I say, we just push these down, push a little dirt around them, and then I'm going to water them in. A lot of people think that this is a hard thing to do when you plant them all together, but you can see how easy this is. Now, normally they'll say grab them by the leaves so you don't mess the stems up when you pull them apart. Now, I'll grab them both ways, but if you do break a stem, you have a choice. If you have a lot of them that you've grown, then just throw that one aside and go for another one. And I like to try to take some of the bigger plants out of here too. But it's as simple as can be. Don't worry about that you may be too rough on these plants, because I'm not really getting rough. I mean, they go down easy. You make a big enough hole. and of course you got to get a hold of them right with your little stick. But it's just a matter of getting them down in there. Now these weren't real leggy anyway because they were under a light, so as soon as they came up they started getting light. Now being close in like this, they will get leggy, but you can see with the amount of extra growth or legginess from these plants, you can see we got rid of all of it when we do this method. It's just a matter of try to get your roots down in the hole, because sometimes you have some long roots, but just try to get them down in the hole. Gently push it down in there, and then push a little dirt around it. When you're potting up your plants, or potting on, as they might say in the UK, pepper plants and tomato plants can be potted a lot deeper. Now I have some extras here, which are, you can see these are kind of leggy. Now I won't be planting those, but there's nothing wrong with planting them. But when you take something that's really leggy like this, and what I'll do is, with tomatoes and peppers both, and that's why I have my little tool there, I'll just take and I'll push these down to the bottom. Now peppers and tomatoes will form roots up on the side. Now tomatoes, you can see that really quick. A lot of people don't think about peppers doing that, but whenever I plant these, I'll plant them actually above the first leaves. Now, and like I say, these are young. They haven't started forming their second leaves, but the reason why I go ahead and do them at this time is because the roots are really they're not really developed and wrapped in between each other. If I was to wait for these to take and form their second leaves, planting with this method, then I would end up with a situation to where the roots would be tangled up, and I would be causing unneeded harm to them, as far as harm to the roots, and breaking a lot of them off. So it wouldn't serve any purpose waiting that long. Like I do here, it's just a matter of putting them in there. They have little roots, but you'll see these grow on fantastic like this. As you can tell now, they're not leggy at all, because their first leaves are right there at the ground where I'm putting them in there. But I'm going to continue this, but I thought that was something worth noting, so you know that how to do this, because a lot of people don't know it's not gonna hurt them. In fact, most vegetables, I don't know any that I don't plant, even if I grow them to transplants, that I don't plant them all the way up close to their first set of leaves. Now tomatoes, I'll even plant them deeper than that. But if you ever noticed a pepper, when you're growing after a while of growing, and say you compost up or something over to keep it cool, give it some nutrition, and you'll notice that it'll start sending roots out from the stem up in that compost. So that's just something to note whenever you're up potting. When it comes to watering in your plants, once you plant them up, prick them out and plant them up, what you want to do is make sure you water them in good. And what I do is I use my little hose, but you see how the plant will move and kind of settle in? I water it until it kind of settles in, and that way it makes sure it's got good media around the root system. And most of them will, like I say, they'll move like that. But you just want to make sure you water them in good after transplanting, because if you don't, you're going to have a big air pocket down under there, where you've made your hole, and your roots aren't going to have the soil around them, so they'll air prune, and you don't want that. You want your roots to continue to grow. You don't want anything to change the speed that your seedling is growing. But just like say, water them in good, and then after I do this, I'll put these out at the grow station so they can grow on. There we go. And we have a lot of these potted up. There's quite a few of them here. Tomatoes and peppers, different varieties. Got them under the grow lights, some on heat pads, some aren't. We've got more of them over here. There's some, and there's some more down there. And we've got other things on the grow lights. We got some cucumbers. We're going to put these out in a few weeks. They're getting pretty good. We've got our little grapefruit trees up there. I think this was some oregano. And we still got more peppers. We have all our tomatoes potted up, but peppers are slower. We've got some varieties are coming on faster than others. And we've got, as you can see, 4 of them have been potted up. We got our pineapples here. We'll see how these turn out. And we've got plenty of figs, and we'll do a fig propagation update here a few days or a week and see how these are all doing. But if you want to see more, of course, just hit that subscribe if you ain't already subscribed. I hope this video is helpful. If you liked it, well, of course, give it a thumbs up. Happy gardening.